Get out. Now. Her voice didn't shake. Her eyes didn't flinch. In the middle of a high-end rooftop restaurant, a young black waitress just did the unthinkable. She kicked out one of the richest men in the country. The billionaire, Ryan Lexton Jr., smirked like it was a joke. The diners went silent. But she wasn't bluffing. Sir, you touched my hand without permission. You've been making comments all night. This isn't a club. You're not charming, you're disturbing. The hostess looked horrified. The manager froze. But Jada, the waitress, stood her ground like she'd been here before. And in that moment, she didn't just protect herself, she challenged a legacy. Because what no one knew was that this young waitress had just embarrassed the heir to a $4 billion empire. And someone was watching. From a distance. From the sky. Jada Evans wasn't the kind of woman who blended into the background, even when she tried. At 26, she walked with quiet confidence, her natural curls pinned up under her server's cap, her deep brown eyes focused, calculating every step she took. She worked at the exclusive Sky Edge rooftop, a glittering restaurant that hovered 40 stories above Chicago. Millionaires dined there like it was nothing. For Jada, it was survival. She had started waitressing at 19, after her mother passed from an unexpected stroke. With no father in the picture, she became the legal guardian to her 12-year-old sister, Layla. Every job she took wasn't just for rent, it was to make sure Layla could grow up safe, finish school, and one day break the cycle. Jada was known among the staff as the calm in the storm. She handled rude customers with grace, memorized orders with eerie precision, and never let her emotions show. But underneath her composed demeanor was a woman who had been disrespected before, who had been ignored when she reported harassment in past jobs, and who learned the hard way that silence protects the wrong people. That's why, when Ryan Jr. began with his little jokes about her body, Jada's radar went off. When he leaned in and whispered that he liked feisty girls, her stomach turned. Still, she gave him the benefit of the doubt. But when he grabbed her wrist as she reached for a wine glass, something inside her snapped. This wasn't about a tip. Or keeping her job. This was about every woman who's been told to smile and take it. Jada stood up not just for herself, but for every moment she'd stayed silent before. And this time, she wasn't backing down. Ryan Lexton Jr. had never been told no in his life. As the only son of Ryan Lexton Sr., the billionaire who owned everything from tech companies to luxury resorts, Ryan Jr. was used to getting his way. He walked into rooms expecting to be praised, feared, or at the very least, tolerated. Women laughed at his jokes even when they weren't funny. Managers apologized when he misbehaved. No one dared to challenge him. Until Jada. When she pulled her hand away from his grip and told him, flatly, "Don't touch me," the entire table froze. His smirk dropped. For a few seconds, he looked genuinely confused, as if this had never happened before. Then came the sneer. "You're seriously going to do this? Over a little compliment?" Jada remained composed. "You crossed a line, and now I'm asking you to leave." A nearby couple glanced over. Another table fell silent. The restaurant staff froze like statues. The manager, Mr. Collins, hurried over, sweat already beading on his forehead. "Jada, maybe we can." But she cut him off with a raised hand. "Sir, I'm not asking. Either he leaves, or I do." Ryan Jr. stood abruptly, knocking his chair back. His voice rose with entitlement. "Do you even know who I am? I could buy this place tomorrow and have you mopping floors by Friday." Jada didn't blink. "Then go ahead and try. But not tonight. Tonight, you're leaving." That was it. The line had been drawn. He slammed his napkin onto the table, muttered something obscene, and stormed toward the elevator, brushing past guests who'd now fully tuned in. A slow wave of applause broke out, quiet but real. Jada didn't smile. She just picked up the tray she'd dropped earlier and walked back to the kitchen, unaware of the eyes watching her. From above. 15 minutes after Ryan Jr. stormed out, a sudden gust of wind swept through the rooftop. Champagne glasses rattled. Linen napkins fluttered. Diners looked up in confusion as the sound of whirring blades echoed above the skyline. A sleek black helicopter was descending onto the nearby private helipad, something that only happened when someone very important was arriving. Jada didn't notice. She was in the back storage room, taking deep breaths, trying to calm the shaking in her hands. She had no idea whether she'd just saved her dignity or destroyed her job. Her phone buzzed in her apron pocket, texts from coworkers who were calling her brave, others who were scared she might get fired. Meanwhile, the helicopter door opened. Out stepped Ryan Lexton Sr., the real power behind the Lexton empire. Unlike his son, the elder Lexton didn't need to talk loud or flash money to be noticed. His mere presence turned heads. Dressed in a charcoal overcoat, eyes sharp behind silver-rimmed glasses, he walked into the restaurant with purpose and silence. "Who's the waitress that stood up to my son?" he asked the manager bluntly. The room went cold. Collins hesitated, stammered, then pointed toward the back. Jada was summoned. She stepped out, still confused, until she saw the man waiting. Ryan Sr. looked her in the eye. No arrogance. Just a quiet kind of respect. "I saw what happened," he said. "I was in the chopper above. I watched my son embarrass himself. And you, standing there, stronger than anyone else in the room." Jada didn't know how to respond. "I want to thank you," he said. "Not just for protecting yourself, but for reminding me what integrity looks like." Then he reached into his coat and handed her a card that would change everything. Jada stared at the business card in her hand. Lexton Global Women's Initiative, Executive Office. Her breath caught. Ryan Sr. wasn't offering a hush gift or a PR stunt. He was offering her something far bigger, a future she hadn't even imagined. "We fund programs that help women like you rise, especially those who've been overlooked, mistreated, or told to stay quiet. I think you'd be a perfect voice on our board," he said. She blinked. "You want me to work for you?" "I want you to lead," he said firmly. "There's a seat at our summit tomorrow in New York. A helicopter's waiting, if you're ready." Jada hesitated for a moment, thinking about the rent due, her sister's school bill, the fear she'd carried all night. Then she thought about the silence she'd broken, and how it had changed everything. She looked him in the eye. "I'm ready." That night, Jada boarded the chopper. As the city shrank beneath her, so did the weight she'd carried for years. She wasn't just flying to a conference. She was flying out of the life that tried to keep her small. The next day, a photo went viral. Black waitress who stood up to billionaire lands seat at Women's Leadership Summit. Ryan Jr. issued a public apology, forced by his father, and deleted his social media after being mocked for days. Meanwhile, Ryan Sr. pledged $5 million to fund protections and leadership training for women in the service industry, all under a new campaign named after Jada, the Jada Standard. Back home, her sister cried with pride. Jada didn't just survive the night, she rewrote her story. From waitress to warrior. From silenced to seen. And all it took was the courage to say one powerful word: no.